Hey guys, you're here and you're watching this because you're wondering, is my wife abusive? This is a difficult subject to admit and to think about and talk about. So, buckle up. It's going to be a little uncomfortable, but I hope you get some clarity after hearing my conversation around this. So, I've been working with men kind of going through very difficult times in their relationship for more than a decade. And about 30% of the time, I'm working with a client, he'll start to tell me about some things that his wife are saying that kind of by definition is emotionally abusive. What does this look like? Well, the simplest terms is that his wife has a habit of drawing him into conflict and then intentionally using words to belittle him, disrespect him, and essentially say things to him that is meant to harm him on an emotional level. Now, the tough part is when a guy's in that relationship, there's some things going on below the surface in his own life, in his emotional landscape, that he thinks it's kind of okay. I'm going to unpack a few of those things. And if any of these resonate with you, then you need to take some action today. So, first of all, men will put up with the emotional abuse because they're afraid of being alone. They're afraid of abandonment. They're afraid of a divorce. And they just think that it's part of the price of entry. That's you got to pay to play. It's the quality of life tax that they think that they need to pay in order to be married. And look, if a woman was going through the same thing, everyone around her would say, you got to get out of this relationship now. And men seem to feel like, oh, I just need to toughen up. I need to handle it. And there's this kind of world that we live in now where it's not uncommon for a woman to say something like, we see this on social media, is like, if you can't handle me at my worst, then you can't have me at my best. That kind of stuff. So if your woman is belittling you, telling you that you are a piece of shit, saying that you are never good enough, using words to intentionally make you feel low, that is emotional abuse. Okay, there's more subtle layers to this, and I think it's worth kind of seeing what could be at play here. So there's also, something going on with her, right? Somewhere in her past, she was taught that it's okay to treat someone like this. Now, if she's got some emotional intelligence, if she's watched some after school specials and went to school, like we all get it. Like that, emotionally mature person understands it's not okay to treat someone like that. So if they are, it's because there's some wiring that's not connecting. Now, a couple of things could be going on. One is borderline personality disorder, right? I'm not here to clinically give a label to anyone. I'm just trying to give you some words to help you potentially go down some other trails for you to research and think about for your own life. Now, borderline personality disorder is when a person literally feels like their personality is slipping from one kind of narrow view of the world to another. And it's rapid, it can happen quickly. And when that happens, they feel very dysregulated. And when that dysregulation comes, the way that they gain control is to lash out in anger and what feels like emotional abuse. It doesn't make it okay for someone to treat you like that, even if that's what they are struggling with. So I have seen some content on there where the guy's just like, I'm going to take this because I know better than she does. Unfortunately, that kind of tack means I'm enabling this because I'm saying that she doesn't have to take responsibility for her emotional health. Another way that this pops up pretty frequently is when a woman has allowed her narcissistic tendencies to get the better of her. Now, I've talked about narcissism many times, but I'm going to give you a really easy definition to work with around narcissism. And that is a narcissist believes that above all things, they have the truest and realest sense of reality. They think that they are the star, director, writer, and kind of overall referee of what they believe life should be. And if you don't agree with what their view of life is, then you are out. you are not allowed to be in their movie, to be in their play, to be in the adventure of life with them. What's more is if they become a malignant narcissist, they tend to use pain and suffering, especially through words, to try to get a person to snap to. So they will belittle people, they will gossip, they will use any kind of verbal power to manipulate people into the action that they want. Again, if you are being treated like you are less than, that you are never good enough, that you are a human piece of trash, then you need to adopt a higher view of yourself and not allow someone to talk to you that way. This is going to cause this person to bristle and to want to pull away. And then, generally speaking, it's going to make you want to pull her closer. You have to be very careful at that. This is an abusive cycle. And that's why, we've seen these like classic scenes in movies, on episodes of Cops, where we see a woman who's with an abusive man essentially defend him, right? That is classic codependency. Men do that too. Men get in the same kind of relationships where a woman is abusive, and sometimes physically. And because he's bigger and stronger and she's small, he just takes the physical abuse because he's, like I said before, afraid to be alone, actually does love her. But the third part is that he's kind of hypnotized into believing that he's the only one that can be in her life, that gets her and provide the kind of safety that she needs, because no one else would put up with it and no one else understands her so that she can be taken care of, right? He feels like the one who can be, who is the only one who can handle her needs. And that is your own kind of narcissism, man. That's like your own kind of high view of yourself. And it's all maladapted, right? It's like all kind of well-meaning, but in the end is actually really toxic on your end too. So if your wife or your girlfriend treats you like shit and you know it, but you've been putting up with it, then you need to draw a line in the sand. It's time for you to say to her, you may not speak to me this way, you may not treat me this way anymore. Now, don't swing into her spectrum of emotional outbursts. Don't call her names. Don't get physical, clearly. Don't get drawn into it. It's emotional immaturity. Think about it. If a kid would act that way or a teenager would act that way, then that's not how you want to be. You're an adult. You're a grown-ass man, and you should lead like a grown-ass man. So say it. Look at her in the eye. Say, what are you trying to get out of this right now? What is it that you want me to feel? Why are you saying those specific words to me right now? What are you hoping happens? And lastly, say, you may not speak to me that way anymore. She may not react well to that, but she will see that you can't be drawn back into her fights the same way. If she continues, then you're going to have to make a big decision. That decision is to remove yourself from that, especially if there are kids involved. If there are kids involved, brother, call your parents, call her parents, get some help, get out of that situation. It's not okay for your kids to see that kind of behavior, to have to live in that kind of behavior. Look, this is a very complicated and touchy situation. It's very difficult to have to live in. If you were there and you've been searching the internet and wondering what to do, well, let this be your sign, man. You need some help. You need a way out of this. You need to start with boundaries and respecting yourself in this process. Last thing I wanted to say to you is reach out to another man. Talk to your friends about this. There's some part of you that's probably afraid of, quote unquote, outing your wife or talking shit about her. Push through that. You're not. What you're doing is stating what is true about what you're going through, and you need the support. Look, I have an online community of men. If you're watching this video, you're in it. Don't forget to hit subscribe, leave a comment if you're asking a question or want to talk about your own experience. You can also follow me over on Instagram. If you're looking for some more support, then grab the free PDF that describes a 3-step process that I use to help men create boundaries, get self-respect, enter into relationship with their higher power and lead their marriages. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Take care. Grace and peace.